Hello and welcome to Thought for the Day from St. Peter's, Bexhill. You know, we can be very lazy when it comes to people we don't know or only know a very little. We might label them as blonde or dark, tall or short, old or young, black or white. And that is very lazy of us because there's always more to people than those labels. And God certainly doesn't see people like that. In Luke chapter 18, from verse 35, Jesus heals a blind man on the side of the road. Now, in those days, being blind, of course, meant you couldn't work. You could only beg. And the story does raise issues about, do you have to have eyesight? And the answer has to be no. I remember a preacher coming to college who was blind, and he was quite adamant that that's who he was. It was just part of him. But of course, Jesus doesn't just restore the man's sight in this story. He restores it so much more than just that. This meditation on that famous story is called The Anatomy of Faith. He couldn't see, but there was nothing wrong with his ears. "Who's there?" asked the blind beggar. "What's going on? There's a crowd on its way, isn't there?" "Jesus is coming," said a beggar nearby. "The crowd's with him." He couldn't see, but there was nothing wrong with his mouth. "Jesus," he shouted, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." And when there was no answer, he shouted even louder, "Jesus!" "Quiet," said the people in the crowd. "Stop your shouting, beggar." He couldn't see, but there was nothing wrong with his head. He knew all about squeaky wheels and grease. So he shouted louder still, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." So Jesus stopped. "What would you like me to do for you?" he asked. He couldn't see, but there was nothing wrong with his heart. "I don't want to be a blind beggar," he said. "I want to see." And Jesus said, "So be it then. Your faith has made you whole." And now there was nothing wrong, not with his eyes, not with his mouth, not with his head, not with his heart, and not with his eyes either, not anymore. Amen. So maybe in the end, this story is not about giving the beggar his sight, but it's all about being made whole. Amen.